as I showed you. Okay, now we see from this slide some of the attempts, yeah, made by different countries, different governments. This one from the United States. Even United States has some criteria of objectionable content, yeah. In this example, they are warning, or they actually had stopped access to websites that deemed to have violated copyright law and intellectual properties. Yeah. So in this case, it was blocked to persons in the United States pursuant to this law. So you see, from my the guidance I gave you earlier, when you see situation or incidents of the blocking of the content of the internet, few things you need to highlight. Number one, the types of the objectionable content. Like in this case, is the infringing materials, the copyright infringing materials, or the intellectual property infringing materials. Well, it can be movies, yeah, it can be songs, it can be music work, or it can be perhaps literatures like ebooks and so on. Yeah. So this was the object or the subject matter of the restriction in America, and you also see that this act was based on this legislation. Yeah, HR 3261 SOPA. SOPA is the name of their law. SOPA is abbreviation, something to do with the intellectual property or copyright issue, and also PIPA. SOPA and PIPA. So every time you see in your own finding or country that you are looking at, also try to check what law they are using. Yeah, what law they are using in order to block the content. Because without the law, then it will be contrary to the rights of people, isn't it? If the government simply block certain type of materials without explaining, or in fact without justifying their act by certain laws, then certainly this is an arbitrary blocking, yeah, and it is not desirable. Of course, it is objectionable, and it may be challenged, yeah, by the citizens if they don't justify under what law the action was taken. So it is very important. Notice like this, it tells you what law is being used by the government. This one is for the Arabic readers, yeah, but there is a translation for it. This is from United Arab Emirates, yeah. Also, they have similar notice of site being blocked. We apologize. The site you are attempting to visit has been blocked due to its content being inconsistent with the religious, cultural, political, and moral values of the United Arab Emirates. Do you think this is specific enough or not? Yeah, it mentions something very big, isn't it? We don't if it is religious, on what basis, whether it is inconsistent with the cultural or political or moral values. I think this is a very, very, yeah, I think it is best to actually put it in more specific way and also highlight the law. Here, we don't see the law. It doesn't mention about the law. It only says about the values. See, since you are against the values, so we block you. So does it mean that now we are enforcing the moral values without the law? This is, of course, a big question. All what we know is moral value will remain something which is, a value which lives in society, but also not enforceable because it doesn't have a force of power to be imposed to society, to people. Unlike law, at the moment you have it considered as a law, part of the law, then only you can enforce it to people, isn't it? So I think this somehow this notice does not sufficiently explain. Does not sufficiently explain. What does it mean? Of course, it also been Malaysia has come up with many notices of restricting access, like what Imran was also highlighting before this. So I picked one of this news story in the past. SKMM, which is Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission, MCMC, had blocked 6,648 websites between 2008 and 2013. Well, that's not as much as what Indonesian government has done, I suppose, of 800,000 websites between 2010 2017. Yeah, I mean, considering the numbers. So perhaps Malaysia is a freer country in that sense, you know, well, on that basis. So what were the content being blocked by governments of Malaysia in this case? It says something to do with kes-kes yang melibatkan penggunaan media sosial untuk menghina yang di-Pertuan Agong dan institusi derajat. These are contents, yeah, ridiculing or saying bad things about the royalty. So in this case, Malaysia is similar, yeah, similar to Thailand. Yeah, the king, the royalty, yeah, yang di Pertuan Agong. Of course, Malaysia has been very strong against this. And recently, if you remember, something is going on also in the court when the king of Malaysia had not complied the idea of declaration of emergency as proposed by the prime minister of Malaysia. He made comments against the king, and they were now investigated under the criminal law against the king. And in this case, actually, they were using the Multimedia Act, yeah, CMA 233. It is about the offensive content. Okay, also they highlighted that there were websites banned because they are either sharing pornographic materials or they are infringing copyrights. So you see here some of these websites, yeah, also mentioned. Okay, example from the. Okay, hold on. I want to inform you about this CMA in Malaysia. They mention here section 263, yeah. Section 263, maybe you need to note it in Malaysian case. We need this section 263 because under this section 263 of Communications and Multimedia Act, it says that all the licensees is like ISP lah, all these people who provide the internet for Malaysians, they have to comply with the request of the government in case there is any request, you know, such as to block certain websites due to the public interest or because it infringes any law in the country. So section 263 is very important. The government will not be able, yeah, to force the licenses if there is no section 263, yeah, because under this section 263 that requires the licensee to do that, yeah, otherwise the license will be terminated, so they have no option. Okay, in Turkey, I used to read as well. This one, users defy Twitter ban amid global fury. So in Turkey, they used to ban Twitter. Why is that? Interestingly, in this case, actually Twitter is now already operational in Turkey, but after some negotiations. At that time, the Turkish government argue that, you know, Twitter should have their representative in Turkey. Otherwise, they will not allow, and therefore they will, basically because they believe Twitter should abide by the law of the country, among others, and also they should pay tax. Yeah, this is the stage of people in Turkey to pay tax. Something to do. Surani, you might be having this in your thoughts, yeah, because you are from the inland revenue, yeah. So many people, especially from outside the country, having the benefits of services being used by Malaysians, but they are not taxable. If you have something to say about this, maybe it's good for your writing and so on, yeah, in future. So this is something what the government can also control, because they don't pay tax, therefore they should not operate. Okay, so that is interesting. These are all examples, yeah. Okay, I mentioned to you about self-regulation. Yes, Rani, you want to say something?
Uh, so I just want to say thank you for the thought. Thank you for the idea.
Yeah, of course. This has been among the issues, because especially I have this concern because the government has been quoted saying that they want to tax everyone who is doing online commerce, which is good. Of course, online commerce is a very big wealth source nowadays. But then you have to be very careful not to discourage people from using the social media, from using the website platforms to do transactions, because it depends on how you define the words, how you define the regulations, for example. Because people like teenagers, like housewives, they also trade on Instagram, they trade on Facebook, and sometimes the volume is not that big. It is just for them to, kill time to get some activities and try to start learning about entrepreneurship, and then suddenly the government tell them they must pay tax. I mean, if this situation is not handled, yeah, with care, so instead of encouraging the digital economy, we are discouraging. Yeah. So think about this. This is just a food for thought for us, of course, especially for you, in how to putting the tax regulation, the best way to put tax regulations on um, website and on internet platforms. Yeah. Okay. Uh, right. Let me now first move to this idea of self-regulation. Do you think it is feasible, or it is working? Do you think it is working that we allow, or we tell the industry to do the self-regulatory approach on restricting the content? Self-regulation is not very strong, isn't it? It is not. You don't really expect everyone doing things. But you will be surprised that many social media are already doing it, like Facebook, for example, or YouTube. They are quite active in controlling what kind of content, yeah, to be allowed. Um, and they will be telling the users that you must not do this. And some people who are actively, for example, posting something about criminal issues, about crime, like encouraging violence or theft, they will be blocked by either YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, for that matter. So they are quite taking active role. Yeah, they are doing that. And recently in U.S. presidential election, uh, from Trump's side, yeah, Donald Trump, the President Donald Trump, from the very beginning, after the counting, he was saying that I won the election. I won and Joe Biden lost it. I mean, and also there were illegal votes being counted, and so on and so forth. He actually attacked. He launched his attack through Twitter. And China actually tried to limit that, and they some people they actually banned right away. But for this one, the one from Donald Trump, what they did was they actually, every time they Donald Trump come with this statement, you will see there is down there a notification from Twitter saying that this statement is not based on truth, or it is based on fake or unsubstantiated statement, something like that, just to inform that this statement is not true, or is maybe there is no truth in it. So what I'm saying is, actually it is happening, yeah, that the industry are doing their own self-regulation. What is the problem? The problem here, if you remember, there was a video depicting the life of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam on YouTube, which was very offensive, yeah, and to Muslims especially, and many people from Islamic world, Muslim world, even Muslim governments, they actually protested against YouTube that such videos should not be uploaded. However, it was so heartbreaking when YouTube said that we we did we found that this kind of video did not infringe their policy, you know, and somehow they allowed this video to keep on appearing on YouTube. It was very heartbreaking because apparently they have a very different idea of what is offensive and what is not. That is the problem, actually. So if we allow this just to go unchecked, there could be more issues. Actually, to me personally, it is good that these platforms do self-regulation. But you must understand that they may have, different set of norms. They may have different set of ideas. What is good, what is bad, what should be allowed, what should not be allowed. So you will realize some type of content is allowed and some others is not allowed, in contrary to what we believe personally, or even to some countries. So this is the problem if we simply allow, or we simply give up to self-regulation of the industry. Then it depends on how they define what is good, what is bad, isn't it? And that is quite unfortunate because by this industry, meaning they are given liberty and freedom to decide. Of course, it's preferred, and therefore it will be good for their development. But I think, in our perspective, we should have the best of the two, meaning that the governments or the law, to some extent, will need to play its role, while at the same time allowing or encouraging industry to do their parts. I think this is still needed. Okay. How self-regulation operates, of course, it is for them to decide. We have examples. In Malaysia, we have content code. This is applicable for licenses or under communications and multimedia industry. So the content code was adopted by this CMCF content forum, yeah, Communications and Multimedia Content Forum. You can check the content code document. It actually tells you what is not allowed, like indecent, obscene materials, annoying materials, and so on and so forth. Interesting. But of course, this is not law. This is what we call as at least a soft law. It is industrial content code. Like in UK, they have IWF, and in Australia, they have IIA. Oh, by the way, let us hear from people who read on UK and on Australia. What do you find? Uh, on UK, Hakim,
Yes, sir.
what kind of incidents or blocking or any restriction happens?
Okay, as you mentioned here in the United Kingdom, they have the IWF or Internet Watch
Mm.
Foundation, which was
Mm-hmm.
founded back in 1996. So
Okay.
interestingly, this IWF, they have this certain MOU or Memorandum of Understanding with the Crown
Mm-hmm.
Prosecution Services and the Association of Chief Police Officers. So this
Oh,
IWF.
hold on. This IWF is not part of the government, is it?
No, no, no. It's not part of government. It's I think it's more or less like a foundation
Mm.
which has
Okay.
a specific MOU with the government.
Okay. Good. Good. It's quite a different arrangement. Then what happened? Any incident, specific incident
Uh,
you can highlight?
yes, the IWF will actually constantly monitor all activities, internet activities within UK, And if
Mhm.
any irregular activities, say for example, child pornography or extreme pornography, IWF will have the IP address and will report it to the police. And also, interestingly, IWF will create a specific list on potential harmful websites. And this list will be sent to the internet service providers, and the
Mm.
internet service providers in the United Kingdom will take steps to further to block the website on their list. So, meaning to say, users in United Kingdom will no longer have able to access the certain websites that IWF blacklisted.
So it seems that this IWF already taking some role of the law enforcement. It seems
I wouldn't
quite
say
powerful.
so. I wouldn't say so, Doctor. I would say IWF is a separate body to actually assist the government agencies to actually to create a better safe place for on the internet.
So is it compulsory for the internet service providers to act according to the recommendation of the IWF?
It is not compulsory. From my understanding, it is not compulsory,
Mhm.
but
Mm.
the ISP or internet service providers will be threatened with legal actions if they refuse to block certain websites.
I see. I see. Yes, because if they don't take out the website, that can be considered as if they are yeah what cooperating or they are collaborating, yeah, with the offensive materials. This is the
Yes.
idea of take out take down, sorry, take down notice. Oh, very interesting. So you highlight one of the objectionable content is child pornography. Yeah, I think they are very strong on it.
That is
Okay,
actually main issues currently in the United
that's the
Kingdom,
main
child
issue.
pornography.
Okay, okay, that's the main issue. Thank you. What about Suryadi on Australia? Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what is
Sir,
your finding about what Australia has done?
Australia, they have the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission, and I
Mm-hmm.
took a case to news about the conduct of Google's activities on internet.
Mm-hmm.
Firstly
Mm-hmm.
in 2013 and secondly in 2018. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
in 2013, is the issue of deceptive and malicious advertisement on Google search, in which
I see.
this case has been concluded in High Court, where the
Mm-hmm.
High Court found that Google was not liable for the representation advertisements on any Google search, because Google was not accountable to any act by any sponsored link or whatsoever, because they don't have any control over the activities. They just act like a middleman for any advertisements. It was received by High Court. And secondly, a recent case, it's not 2018. I found recently the case where ACCC has alleged that Google had misused personal data like our location or whatsoever when when we click the I agree term on search on Google search such as YouTube or Google search. And ACC alleged that Google had misused had collected our personal data, in which we are not informed of the consequences that might happen if our personal data uh, if been collected by Google, for what purpose, to the extent of what purpose. But this is an ongoing case, and
Ongoing
I'm
case.
not sure about the development of this case, the progress.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, very interesting insight you share from Australia. They are very concerned about matters like anti-competition conduct, anti-competitive conduct, unfair competition, as well as data protection, yeah, and privacy infringing. So, did they mention? Okay, you mentioned that it was about the location and so on, yeah. So, is there any report that you found out about any specific content which is blocked or which is restricted, perhaps, other than these two issues? Yeah, Suryati? Okay. We assume, of course, since Suryati highlighted these two things, yeah, if the content of the internet happens to be promoting anti-competitive and unfair competition practices, then it may be considered as problematic. But this can be approached from several laws. Number one, it can be considered as unacceptable content, but at the same time, of course, it is anti-competitive. You can use the Competition Act or any similar competition law to approach this. Yeah, it is not necessarily a purely content issue. It is about the practice itself, which is illegal. Just like issue of data protections, and we also have the law on data protection. So any act, any malicious practice which is in contrary to the principles of data protection can be uh, sanctioned, yeah, under this Data Protection Act. Yeah, but if, let's say, somebody writes something, posted something in which, yeah, such information or such posting exposed other people's privacy, and I believe this will also be rejected, will also be um, subject to laws, yeah, either from statutory law or from common law principle, yeah. So I think this is one of those areas, yeah, highlighted by Australia. Okay, thank you for that. Let me get back to my slide now. I think yeah, we come to the uh, legal analysis of it. Let me go for it. Okay, this is example of the self-regulatory approach. Okay, an interesting question. Is there internet censorship in Malaysia? Of course, I mentioned to you earlier. Yes, Malaysia came up with this MSC Malaysia Bill of Guarantee. Number 7 says that there is no censorship of the internet. Yeah. Also, under the Communications Multimedia Act, Section 3 says that nothing in this act, which is regulating the multimedia industry, nothing in this act shall be construed as permitting the censorship of the internet. Therefore, we say that internet is not censored in Malaysia because of these provisions. Yeah. Also in Malaysia, there is a content code and general consumer code, which shows that Malaysia is also encouraging a self-regulatory approach. Okay, to ensure no censorship of the internet. What is the of course, this was to at that time to woo, yeah, to invite investors to come to Malaysia. By then, 1990s, we were developing so much, and with multimedia super career, we want to have this technology based companies to come to Malaysia, and therefore we have Cyberjaya. Yeah, they actually are all at that time hosted there. Yeah. But this is a very important statement. We must know that while the government will not censor the internet, this doesn't mean that any person may disseminate illegal content with impunity without regard to the law, because we do have the law. Yeah, that is the point. So I will show you the law on illegal content in Malaysia. And these are among others that had been legislated by the Malaysian Parliament. Yeah, among the main legislations that have been used in Malaysia against illegal content. Yeah, Sedition Act. Yeah, then Communications and Multimedia Act, Penal Code, PDPA, as well as anti-fake news. But of course, now we have no more. Yeah, this one. Sorry, I should have deleted this. Anti-fake news is already repealed. Yeah, very short-lived. 2018, and then in 2019, no more. Yeah. Okay, but in 2020, we feel the need of it. For it. But anyway, so we have few laws actually that the government had been using to restrict the law. Even though in the first place we are saying in Malaysia we do not censor the internet, as what, for example, China or Saudi Arabia did. You know, we do that. Yeah, but we do know that some uh, contents must not be allowed to be published. So we use this Sedition Act, communications, and so on. Yeah. Of course, among all these, the most used one is the second one, CMA, Communications and Multimedia Act. This is Sedition Act. I will leave to you to read more on Sedition Act and other acts, but I want to highlight to you this one. The CMA, these are the two most used provisions in order to criminalize certain types of content. Yeah, number one, section 211 is on the prohibition of provision of offensive content. This is more to the service providers. You should not provide this kind of, content which is indecent, obscene, false, menacing, or offensive in character with intent to annoy, abuse, or threaten or harass any person. Yeah, that is the mental element. The intention element must also be there. And then section 233, yeah, improper use of network facilities or network service, etc. You see there, a person who by means of network facilities knowingly, one, makes, creates, or solicits, and two, initiates and the transmission of any comment, request, suggestion, whatever, yeah, which is obscene, indecent. Yeah, obscene means obscene. Like you find the meaning there. In the it is not mentioned in this law, but you can highlight the meaning under the dictionary. Indecent, false, menacing, or offensive in character. So, for example, false news also can be put under this act. Yeah, indecent, something which is not, which is against the morality. Menacing means making angering people, making people angered, or offensive in character. Yeah, which intend to annoy, abuse, threaten, or harass other people. That's why people also use this law for cyberbullying, because it is intended to annoy, to harass people. Yeah, cyberbullying can also be based on this one also. Also, a person who initiates the communication, meaning this is the one who published it and so on. It is an offense. Yeah. So for this one, section 211-233, if you remember last week, I gave you my latest article. Actually, it gives you more explanation. Please read that. And also, it shares with you among the latest court decisions. Okay, so please read that article. If you still, I hope you still have it. It is not deleted in your WhatsApp group. Yeah, it is there. I shared with you last week. So please read that article. That is quite fresh. It is not yet published. It is going to be published this December. Yeah. So it is still. If you want to quote, you may quote as a draft, but not as a published material. But later on, after December, it should be published already. Okay, so I mentioned to you section 263. This is the section under the Malaysian Communication and Multimedia Act, which allows the government to force ISP to comply. Yeah, in other words, to if any content required to be restricted, then they use section 263, general duty of licensees. Yeah. Then also we have penal code, for example, something to do with pornography. We also have one under something to do against parliamentary democracy, dissemination of false report, and so on. Yeah, you can have a look at this. Yeah, so for this topic, you can have a look on those topics. I am especially focusing on CMA. Fake news no more. So if there is anything which is fake, which is false, then you still have to use Section 233 Consumer Communications and Multimedia Act. Okay, we have few cases. Please read my case on that issue. Yeah, this is online resources. Basically, that is all. Okay, let me now conclude with this thought for future. What cyber law has done a lot to online content. Of course, we acknowledge and defines illegal content. That's why you have limitless law wherever it is. Yeah, we have a limitless law everywhere. You have the law from those countries like Thailand, Malaysia, China, US we saw, and then uh, yeah, some more countries like UK, and they all have laws to highlight what is illegal, what should not be allowed. They also criminalize and mandate the some of the law mandates the filtering or censorship. However, do you think it is sufficient? No, we already have so much laws, but yet illegal contents keep on mushrooming, growing, flourishing in the internet, and more people are reading it, more people are accessing to it. That reminds us to what we learned under Lawrence Lessig's code, or how to regulate the internet. Law does not stay alone. Law does not work in isolation. We have to consider the environment, the industry, how they react, as well as the technology and also the market. If we can combine all those, then at least we have a better chance of reforming the behavior of people when it comes to internet content. Yeah. And also, it is important to highlight that we need to have international framework, international cooperation framework, and this is what we are lacking, because all these cyber laws work in their own territories and jurisdictions. We do not have a strong convention yet. We do have one convention on cybercrime, but of course, it is still very low, yeah, participation. We will talk about this convention under the topic of cybercrime later on. And what cyber law lacks doing is that we have not really looked into that other options. For example, like what UK is doing, I think it's quite interesting to have this partnership, yeah, from the industry like IWF, Internet Watch Foundation, but not simply doing a monitoring, but also very actively involved, yeah, in the reporting, in the blacklisting websites, and so on. I think we need to have this kind of partnership as well. Yeah. Then industrial code, like we already have content code, but I think how much it has been worked out, I think really for people to look into and see further how to improve. Then, for example, technological requirements. Yes, why don't we have, for example, apps or search engine, or maybe social media, which help us to restrict pornography, for example. So this thing can be thought of, and see if they can play their role. Like what I said, YouTube, Facebook, they already played their role, but somehow, of course, they have their own way of doing. Sometimes not necessarily in line with the wish of the law of the country. Yeah. So I highlight to you a lot of things here. If you may want to consider each of them, including labeling mechanism. You buy something, you see label, yeah, label to show you what it is. For example, ISO, or if it is a food, is it halal or is it containing some certain ingredients? At least something to inform to the consumers. So there has been some idea also. Why not having a social media or apps or websites which also has some trust mark? You get what I mean? Like halal certification or ISO certification. They will put it on their face of the website. So when people use it, they know, they get this understanding that this is one of the safe platform to do, and you shouldn't worry too much about the offensive contents. I mean, these are all options for uh, for getting people to be safer, from the offensive contents, other than simply punishing people by criminal law. I think this is what we need to do more, yeah, beyond just criminalizing and punishing. Right. This is what I just mentioned. What things regulate? We look at all other options, yeah. And also we can learn from Susan Brenner's article of distributed security. I think I'll check later if it is in my blog. I will inform you, because from this article she was actually explaining what kind of role that can be played by everyone, not only the government, of course, but what about the ISPs? What about um, the internet business associations? What about end users? What about families and then organizational users such as universities, such as workplaces? I mean, Susan Branders from Harvard University was telling us, you know, each of us has this shared responsibility. That's why they call it a distributed security through a shared responsibility. That's it. That's it about this topic. Okay, what is expected from you from this topic? Number one is to know the idea of content regulation, the pros and cons. Yeah, what is it and why is it needed? And then how governments do it. How do governments do it? They do it with different approaches. And then we can hear some examples, but I'm sorry, some people I can't call here. Yeah, Allah, you have idea of USA? Maybe we can share later. Yeah, of Farah about Korea, and Kisra about Tanzania. All will be very interesting to hear. Abdul Qadir on Bangladesh. I'm not calling you this time. Maybe next time. To share with us, or what you can do if you have any short materials like Amirul also was doing, yeah, on Singapore, you may want to share with us. I will really appreciate that on our WhatsApp group. Yeah, it will be very highly appreciated. You can highlight what is going on in those other countries. So I repeat, what is expected from us? We need to know why is there a need for content regulation, what is the objective, how governments do it differently in one place to another. Then we have examples where there is self-regulation, where there is mandated blocking like in China, when there is criminal offenses being imposed by countries, or when there is also blocking from the very beginning. Some Arab countries, I think like Saudi Arabia, is doing very strict access to internet. It is very much controlled, and so on. So we have these examples. I want you to look narrowly to what Malaysia is doing. Yeah, as a case study, how is the content regulation happening in Malaysia, what kind of laws being used, and then taking from examples of the cases. Yeah, this will be the gist of this topic. Yeah, and what do you think is the way forward? I think I need that from you. I need from you, you know, as a postgraduate students, what do you think is next in future? I mean, I gave you some clues, perhaps in my perspective, like getting everyone involved. But is there any area you think we should strengthen? Any area you think we should take further, or maybe leave out? Maybe some approach is no longer relevant. We should leave out, and so on. So you should have you know, at least some of your own observations of this. Okay. Anyone want to ask or share?
Hi, sir.
Yes, yes.
So we can share the video, is it, sir?
Say again?
We can share the videos, is it now? Hello?
Yes. Which video are you talking about?
Oh, no, about the domain name system, is it?
Oh, okay, okay. I think what we said earlier, Sundar, for your domain, for your website, you just simple, and I believe everyone will look at it.
I can't hear you, sir.
Wow, sorry, you can't hear me.
Just, there's a break. Can't hear you well.
It's not so clear, Prof.
Oh, okay, 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 okay. I'm afraid because I have moved my place. Has it been a problem all this while?
No, Prof. Now it's clear.
Yeah. No, just
Sometimes.
Now it's clear,
Okay.
Prof.
What I was saying, Mr. Sundar, for your domain name presentation, we suffice it that you share with us in a WhatsApp group. I will ask everyone to look at it, yeah, to play it on your own. So we are not using up any more, you know, data only to play that. And please, if you have questions or comments, you mention, you highlight in the WhatsApp group. I hope that is okay for you, Sundar.
Yes,
But
yes, Prof. Yes, Prof.
in my perspective, it does not reduce any significance. Yeah, it be it an direct presentation or playing the video, to me it is simply sufficient for my purpose, and we are looking at the content of your video rather than anything.
Sure, sure. I will share, Prof. Thank you, Prof.
Okay, thank you. But let me just ask: is my video all the while from the very beginning has been problematic or lagging sometimes or not?
Sometimes, bro.
Sometimes, Prof. Sometimes.
Oh, I see. I see.
Your video is sometimes
I
like breaking
realize.
out.
I see. But does it affect like the general
Nah, nah,
lecture
no.
No,
outcome
no,
when you
no.
get?
No,
Yeah.
Prof, it's okay. Just little problem.
Okay. In some places it was lagging. Okay. Thank you for letting me know, because as you realize, actually I moved from my usual place. I will improve from here on that issue, inshallah. So thank you for everyone for following this lecture, and we'll see you again next week, inshallah. We will be talking about let me check later, maybe cyber crime, I think. We will see. So till then, and stay safe with you and families, inshallah. Yeah, till see you again.
Thank you so
Assalamualaikum
much, Prof.
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, you too, Prof. Thank you.
Waalaikumsalam, Prof.
Salam, Prof.
Waalaikumsalam,
Thank you.
Take care,
teacher.
Prof.
Prof.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you, Prof.